Right on with the right on.
You
Learning
did?
orchestrates vital evolution. By any other name, the aggressive pursuit of improvement. Here we go. We back the quantum mechanics here to do maintenance one more time. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. We talking maintenance. We always talking maintenance. We always talking quantum. And then we always go from, as we say, macro to micro, micro to macro, the in and out, as above, so below. But if
Yada
we
yada
doing
yada.
maintenance, right? We doing maintenance on systems that work, right? And so since we talking about work and how everything we do is related to work, we gonna talk about and define work and the magnitude and how work is connected to everything. So let me go ahead and do this right here. Work is a funny thing because everything people do, people hate, people love work, people hate work. Everybody is some scenario with work. But if you understand that you are a source of energy, and we learn or we know as to be true, all energy must do work. So I hate when people associate work with slavery. Like those is two different concepts entirely. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? So you get an influx of people, or just in general, when you communicating with individuals where they just so anti-work. Everything about them is against work. Like, oh well, work. We just supposed to be in a field, laying, watching the damn. That could be, but even if that's the case, nature has already decided that that which does not defend itself shall not be defended. So even if you was in a community where we just lived freely, somebody'd have to go gather the berries.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody have to go catch the meat. Somebody have to. You understand what I'm saying? It was
Mm-hmm.
still is there's still some level of work. People be like, oh well, the top 1% don't work. They may not, but all of their wealth comes from some work. They are the work organizers.
Yeah, if
See
you
what I'm
look at it
saying?
that way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand that all energy must do work. So all money on this planet is made from work.
Absolutely.
It's made from works. In some,
Even if,
yeah.
yep,
Go
yeah, you
ahead. Go
on it.
ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, you on it. Even if you didn't call it money, all things that aid your prosperity, nigga. Food,
Right.
that's money.
Right. Right.
A tool, that's money. All these things,
Right. Right. It
under a
all
different light.
comes.
You have to look
Right.
at it under a different light. Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. So the main thing that we discussing right now is just work and the different levels and the different ways work is connected. We not just we not that's what I'm saying. What you just interjected with was perfect because it's not just about going and clocking in. But see that when you looking at it from the going and clocking in standpoint, you destroy all the advantages of understanding how to manipulate work in your favor. You destroy all of the context
Yeah,
because
because they relegating work down to just money. But money
right.
is just a representation of your time, which you
Right,
can cash in
right,
later.
exactly. So with that being said, I don't even have to do no more building up or no more construction of this thesis. Go ahead and hit them with the science, my brother.
All right, dealing with work, the definition, it starts off exertion or effort directed to produce or accomplish something, labor, toil. And then I'm gonna skip right down to the physics manifestation of it. It says work, force times the distance through which it acts, specifically the transference of energy equal to the product of the component of a force that acts in direction of the motion of the point of application of the force and the distance through which the point of application moves. Long story short, all energy must do work,
Right,
right?
right.
That's long story short. But earlier this week, you mentioned war. and work in
Right.
war and people having personal wars. So I'm gonna
Right.
dip into war as well.
Right.
So war is a conflict carried on by force of arms,
Right.
as between nations or between parties within a nation. Warfare by land, sea, or air, a state or period of armed hostility or active military operations. A contest carried on by force of arms as in a series of battles or campaigns, active hostility, contention, conflict, contest. So I was like, all right, let me dip down to arms because they use that twice in there, and arms, is important. So arms are the upper limb of a human body, the forelimb of any vertebrae, an administrative or operational branch of an organization, power, might, authority, weapons, especially firearms. And then it has escutations, which are basically symbols or what do you call it? Coat of arms. You know how they'll have a shield that represents your family?
Right.
A crest, like a family crest. And
Right.
that has underneath it, I had to look that up. I was like, okay, so divisions, charges, tinctures, and other components forming an achievement that symbolizes and reserved for a person, family, or corporate body is the coat of arms. So even tinctures, a tincture is a rendering of something. Like you can make a tincture of an herb, and this is the most powerful essence of something. Alcohols are tinctures in the beginning, and it was alcohol. It's wine and spirits. You know what I mean? So then I was like, let me see what a battle is, because I want to know what the difference between a war and a battle is. A battle is hostile encounter engagement between opposing forces, a fight between two persons or animals, any conflict or struggle. That's any conflict or struggle. So when you're looking at work essentially you have to apply for a job, right? And then that application process, you're seeing if you meet the criteria. It's kind of like measuring you up, basically. You know what I'm saying? If you was looking at it as if a person was a boxer, you know what I'm saying? Or what's his reach? How old is he? You know what I mean? How tall is he? These things add to your attributes, in which case then you can step into battle against another person. All right, we got 2 more applicants after you. We'll give you a call. Now you in a contest. Now you in a battle to see, will I get this job? I'm just using that as a reference because everybody can relate to that.
Right.
Right.
And perfect reference. Perfect reference. We're
right.
Get back to that reference in a minute, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you right online, because it's all about epistemology, bro. How you learn, how you know what you know, and how you can reference what you know. Right. It's very key for you to realize what your science is and how you get at it and how you apply it.
Right.
But
right.
When we're talking about these escutations, these coat of arms, these symbols, what happens is there's a difference between an emblem and a symbol. An emblem is a graphic representation of whatever it is you're trying to get across to some people. It's the exoteric form of communication. Okay. A symbol, although similar, is different. The symbol is the esoteric form of communication, because it could be perceived many different ways, as it should be. It's allegorical. Right. Symbols are there it's a universal language. Whereas if you don't know what the emblem is, or if you don't know what the escutation is, then you won't be down with the science, because you'll have to understand specifically what this emblem represents. And somebody who already knows what that emblem represents, who's like an initiate to that emblem, would be able to explain it to you. But a symbol needs no explaining. A symbol is similar to life itself, but it has to be spoken out metaphorically so it could transcend. Symbols transcend time. There's no time limit to the symbol, because it's but you have to understand how to read that, though. Right. Right. You have to understand how you know what you know. Right. Right
there with that symbol. Let me do this real quick. One thing I noticed about symbols that people, I always see people, they always talk about, well, it's hieroglyphics, and well, nobody can read them, and this, that, and the third. But the problem is not that you can't read it. The problem is that you're not in the time of the meaning, what it was readily available, right? So I always liken hieroglyphics to what we call today stereotypes, or you understand what I'm saying? Like, say, like, not stereotypes down to the letter, but just a,
you mean like sayings, like cliches or sayings?
Like how, like, just things that, like a cliche. A cliche is a hieroglyph, right? So it's like saying, if you're looking at graffiti, you in the hip hop community, you looking at graffiti, and somebody who don't know nothing about nothing to be like, well, what does that mean? But you could just look at it and tell. You was like, okay, well, that guy got a hoodie on. There's a picture of a weapon. Then it's a car. It looks like somebody describing some type of conflict where somebody got robbed and they ran away. And it'd be like, how did you get that from that? Well, I understand the hieroglyphs, right? I'm within the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Get what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just symbols, right? And you'll say, well, that don't make sense. Cool. Well, when you turn on your phone, right? What are emojis? These are hieroglyphs.
Mm-hmm.
You're within the context of knowing what it means. So at one point, you would see the smiley face, or you would see, anything. Well, you know how people switch it, right? You'll see the water, right? The water droplets. But in any context, it could mean something sexual. But you would have to be within the culture to know. Other than that, it would just be water droplets.
I'll give you an example. I
Right.
was reading in that book. It's a E. Wallace Budge book, man, dealing with the Egyptians. And the Egyptians used to identify the moon as a cat.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And they also used to identify the sun as a cat. But
Right.
not because they were so ignorant to say that the moon looks like a cat, because it obviously doesn't look like a cat, or that the moon is anything. It wasn't like trying to be a riddle or anything like that. They
Right.
used the cat as a symbol for the moon because the moon shines at night and the cat can see at night. Its
Right.
eyes become big, its pupils fully
Right.
dilate, and the
Right.
cat can actually see at night.
Right.
And they use the sun as that example too, because the sun shines during the day and it shines on the underworld. So
Right.
it's able to see when there is no light. That's why the cat was used as the symbol for the moon.
Oh,
But in these new
right.
days, you wouldn't be able to understand that because
Right.
it's spoken
Because
symbolically.
we're not
Mm-hmm.
right. We're not in the culture. But
Mm-hmm.
like you
Mm-hmm.
saying, it's not deep, right? It's meant for a child and an adult master to see it, but get two different meanings. But they could both understand what they're looking at. You
Exactly. And
understand
it
what
is
I'm saying?
designed for two different meanings because that's that
Right.
allegory coming through again. Because
Right.
allegory is just using
Right.
pictures, words as a
Right.
representation for something else, has a hidden meaning, the
Right.
esoteric side of it. I'll
Right.
give you another example. If you get a person that's from China and you introduce them to a person from Japan, there's
Mm-hmm.
an obvious language barrier. Neither
Mm-hmm.
one of them knows the other person's language, but if they wrote down what they needed to say, they could speak to each other perfectly because both of those languages or calligraphy is written in symbols. So if the
Right.
Japanese person who don't know no Chinese at all, if he could write down something in his symbols, because that's how Japanese language and Chinese language is written out. It's written out in symbols, which are
Right.
easily understood as long as they,
Right.
are on the same initiative.
Right. This is
And
what
that's
I'm
how
saying.
words used to be. That's how
Right.
words used to be. Whether you were speaking German or Spanish or whatever, these words were very similar because there was not supposed to be any confusion. It was all
Right.
speaking
Right.
in
Right.
symbolically. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Just like, and we'll do one more and then you can move on. But like how when you were a kid, your mom tell you eat your vegetables, grow big, and you be doing good, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same as now when you as an adult, it's the same hieroglyph. Go to work, do your job, get a check. The same hieroglyph.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? The same things that you learned as a child, as you grow up, it's the same hieroglyph. It's the same one. But now as an adult, it has a different meaning. As a child, it meant, right, eat my vegetables, whatever, follow the rules. I'll get a snack or at whatever at the end of the day. What's the same thing? Go to work, follow the rules, do what you need to do, get a check at the end of the week. It's the exact same hieroglyph. Same
And
one.
you know what? You gotta find out how you prepared yourself for things, because people be going through so much through their days and through their lives, man. They forget the things that they've done in the past. You
Right,
know what I mean? You forget the things that you've done in the past, and you never recall on that shit to be like,
right,
I prepared myself for this. You know what I
right,
mean? Just
right,
like you were
right,
saying before about aviation, how no matter where I go, I'm gonna be able to knock this out because I done been in the toughest situations and I've been seasoned, so to
right,
speak. You know what I'm saying? To
right,
be
right,
able to do all of this stuff. So even even when I think back to my childhood, I try not to take nothing away from my parents. You know what I mean? Because
right,
it wasn't anything else that got me prepared but them. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that they're the reason that I say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, sir, yes,
Right.
sir.
Right.
Because I
Right.
don't want to attest it to, oh, where'd you work before? People be asking me, oh, were you this? Were you in the military? Were you this and that? Nah. These are assumptions that you're trying to bottle me up in. But nah, this came from my roots. You know what I mean? This
Right.
came from something deeper than that. But people
Right.
try to shallow it out by just saying, oh, well, I can easily explain why you're so astute, or I can easily explain why you're the person that you are because you went through this or you did this. And it's like, nah, man, you can't do that. People try to
Right.
bottle you up into
Right.
these different definitions and these different
Right.
narratives.
Right.
And that's key, man. The
Right.
narrative linguistics and how they try to portray people. And that's why it's a whole problem with this whole, go woke or all these things that get said when you aren't even necessarily a part of that, but because they have people that are representing that in a different way, you get bunched up with them. You just like
Right.
crowd
Right. That's
theory.
what I was about to say. The thing about that is people will say woke, but that it's already been relegated to a certain thing that it's not even woke. Now it's the new sleep. Like,
Right.
because what they consider to be woke just means you just talking this stuff. But this stuff that you're talking may not even have nothing to do with any level of enlightenment. It's just out of the mainstream. Oh,
Right. And they didn't associate
right,
crazy people with it too. So
right,
it's like you can't
right,
even make sense because somebody crazy
right,
then got called
right,
out on it. And it's like,
right.
it's not that, it's this. You feel me?
Right, right. And if you're saying that, then obviously you woke and you're a part of that crowd. But it's like, nah, I'm just saying what makes sense. So like it's to the point now that you out or you just doing stuff and the regular man is now the weird guy.
Right. That's why I
Like,
like that lexicological alchemy, man. Like making
right,
up words, changing my laugh. Every now and then I'll change my
right,
laugh up.
right, right,
Because
right,
the people will copy you, bro. Just like we was talking about last time, how you see little things in people to where you
right,
be like, I'm gonna take a little bit of that, and then you
right,
get your thing right and defined, and you don't even realize who you are, bro. People
right.
don't even realize who we are, how we impress upon other people, this, that, whatever, and they start copying you, bro. Just like a good comedian.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't hold your jokes right, and people gonna be like, oh, I heard that joke. So people will steal your jokes. People
Right,
will steal your swag. People will steal your walk
right.
because we are so creative naturally, bro. We're just so creative naturally that I always found myself having to change it up, bro, because
Yeah.
I don't even realize. That's why I always ask my man, what did I say? How did I sound? Whatever, because I can't see myself outside myself. You know what I mean?
Right, 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 right,
Mm-hmm.
right. But like you said, man, it's so crazy because now just being a regular person is being quote unquote woke, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a man at the cash register making purchases. That's it.
Right.
That's it. But it's like, oh man, well you blah. Nah, man, I'm just, hey man, I'm just guy at pump 3, brother.
Yeah, but people have no. I think not. I was gonna say people have no options. I think people have too many options.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
You
I'm just,
got too many options to
listen,
fuck off
brother.
and be a
Right.
degenerate.
Right. It's like it's so many different things that now being a regular guy is being different.
Reading a book is being a different. I remember I
Right.
was reading a
Right.
book and I was telling this
Right.
dude about reading a book. I was happening to be at work with this dude. He's like, oh, what? You finna get a new job or something? I'm like, no. He's like, well, what you reading that book for? I'm like, because I just want to read the book. People
Right.
associate
Right.
work
That's what
or
I'm
trying to
saying.
like
It's just
once people got out of high school, they stopped thinking. So it's like if
right.
I have to think about something, it must be having to do with some money or a job
Right.
because I
That's what I'm
already got a
saying.
good job.
It's like regular stuff. Just being a regular person is now so far from the norm. And I'm not saying the norm. Because when you say that, people's like, oh, well, nothing is normal. I'm not trying to say normal as in normal. I'm saying like it was a time when just being a regular, you could just be a man going to work, and
Mm-hmm.
that was what that was. Like it wasn't no deeper man. Man, I'm just a man going to work, and then I say I'm just a man going to work. Oh, brother, you a slave to the system. Hey, man, brother, I'm just going to work, man.
You know what I think, bro? I think what happened to us a long time ago is we started realizing the wording that was going on around us and the wording that was being used. And I think it's us and people like us living metaphysically, bro.
Right,
That means beyond the physical, beyond metaphysically
Right.
meta meaning beyond, and physically meaning the physical. So we
Right.
started living beyond the physical. Like, we started using our bodies as avatars. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. You start using your body as an avatar, just like if you go to the gym and you
Right.
don't want to be in there, you tired or whatever, but I'm in control of this. The
Right.
mind is all. So you finna go do this work, body, just like a planet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm finna make some storms up in here, whether
Right.
you like it
Right.
or not. It's
Right.
finna be some
Right.
cytokine storms and some, you know what I
Right.
mean? Some
Right.
lactic acid flows and
Right.
overflows.
Right.
We're gonna have some lactic acid volcanoes going off because I
Right.
am in control of this. So I
Right.
think when we started really living metaphysically, I think it really was a turning point. We haven't identified it as that, but I think we've been living metaphysically, not just us,
I
people like
believe
us.
it. Yeah, I
If you
believe it.
listening to this, there was a turning point when you started going beyond the physical. You really started understanding that you are this hero, or you are this
Right.
person that is an overachiever. You know,
Right.
I had went today and I'm investing in myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm constantly stacking silver. And the dude was like, he was trying to sell me this silver coin today. And it was a commemoration of the Astros, right? The Astros won the 2022. I don't know how I stumbled onto this place, man, but this is like an exclusive place that only sells online. But I stumbled onto the dude, met the guy. He was real nice. I went up there. Long story short, he was like, yeah, this coin right here. Now, regular coins is like $27, $30. He was like, well, this one coin is $150. And he was like, but you got to listen. This coin is not just $150 when it's only 2,022 of these made. And we got a number stamped on here for you. So just think about this. You can go beyond this and sell it to the next person in a day, a two, a month, a year, and it's going to be worth even more because there's only 2,022 of these.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? You're right, man. I have to stop bottling myself up. Because at first I was
Right.
like, nah, I got my little stack right here. And this is my
Right.
stack. I'm trying to save for this and that. But he introduced me to that because I had been thinking about branching out and doing other stuff like arbitrage and stuff like that, you know, where
Right.
you find something for cheap and then you go resell it for a little bit more. That's what arbitrage is. And you do that on OfferUp and eBay and Craigslist and shit like that. But why not do it with something that's minted and something that's far beyond? Like I was like, all right, I could do it. You know what I'm saying? I had to think bigger, and he was right. So I went on and copped it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Not
Right.
because for any other reason that the potential there, I have to just allow that potential to grow. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like casting. It's kind of like casting your caution into the wind and taking a risk.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, right. But like you said, always investing in yourself and always investing in your next move could never go against you.
Yeah, you
Never.
dig?
It's always in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Because
always
when
in
you
your
change
favor.
the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Right.
You know, and that's so true, bro. Because when you're doing stuff under the guise of whatever job you're doing. But then when you do that job, what sets you apart in that job? Or what sets you apart in that task, or whatever you're doing for the community, whatever you're getting paid or not? What sets you
Right.
apart is your ability to see it differently than somebody else. That's what sets
Right.
you apart, bro.
Right.
That's what sets you apart in anything that you're doing. Your ability to say, all right, I could do it like this to make it a little bit faster. I can lean out this process, or actually I can do it to where I have a little bit extra and I can give it to this person. However you do it, how your skills are so amazing, bro. Your skills and your creativity
Right.
as a person you are. Everybody
Right.
got to understand the creativity that they possess inside of them and how they could finesse and get through things.
Right. But
Sometimes in a
see,
miracle type of form, but we hold ourselves back. We be
right.
procrastinating.
But we do because our initial topic, work. We do because somebody's already gave work a value that now we devalue the work to ourselves. So we don't work on being more skilled at being me. I don't work
Mm-hmm.
at more skill. You understand what I'm saying? Like I work
Skilled at being me. That's the key.
right. I work at being skilled at being me. You understand
Not the
me?
job, you know?
Right. How can I be more? Okay, I'll just use me as an example. I always got my little sayings and stuff like that. So I always say, man, I'm not concerned. You understand? I'm not concerned. I possess the ability to learn. That's one
Mm-hmm.
saying that I have, and that it's not even a saying. I live by that. I'm not concerned because I possess the ability to learn. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
where I'm at or what I'm doing. I can learn this, and
MacGyver.
and even if I can't learn it, I can be resourceful enough to find the solution. Do you understand? And then from there, reverse engineer it until I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because but that's something that I do as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else as a person, they may be more inclined to, like you more studious than I am, right? You will study, you'll do this, you'll do that, but that's your advantage to how you operate in the world. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, well, I know I can get into these places. I know how to look at the reality for where I'm at to find a way into where I'm trying to go. Now I know when I get there, I may not be quote unquote qualified, but that's my advantage. It's my ability to accelerate my matriculation.
You know what that is too, bro? That's internal confidence, bro. I learned, like, I remember a long time ago, dude was like, oh, you don't watch another man's pockets. And that stuck with me because it's like,
Right,
I can't be concerned with how I have to be confident enough to stand there too and do what I need to do as well in whatever way I
right,
know how to do it.
right,
And man, that
right,
shit has taken me so far because I'm not
right,
worried about the next person. A lot of
right,
people end up caught up chasing behind somebody trying to see how they did it because they aren't confident enough in themselves.
right,
They haven't put themselves through enough personal wars or personal
right,
conflicts to say
right,
how they don't test themselves because they don't have
right,
to. Just like the dude
right,
was like, "What you reading that book for? What you got? Are you gonna get a new job?" No, I'm reading this book to know how I am in these
right,
conditions, not
right,
for no other reason. Because I don't need nobody to pay me something that doesn't even do nothing but just represent time that I put in somewhere, and then I could take that time and take it somewhere else and pay somebody else time.
right,
And then it's just a continuation of payments of
right.
time. It's not even
Look,
real, bro.
like you
That
said,
banknote is not even real.
like you said, when we talking work and personal war, that's what you're talking about. When you just said, when you said you haven't done enough conflict to yourself, people always get caught up in what somebody doing to them or what people doing to them or what the system is doing to them or what the government is doing to them. But your personal war with yourself in this environment is more important. My question is not what has somebody done to you, but what have you done to yourself? Have you put yourself through conflict?
People don't even want those problems with themselves. They never challenge
Right,
themselves, and they think
right,
that they outsmart in
right,
the world. Oh, I'm
right.
good. I'm
But
smart
what
because
right,
I'm here relaxing, or
right.
you never like get up early or stay up late. Like
Exactly. What
there's
have you
sometimes,
done
bro.
to
When
yourself? What if you can keep
exactly,
talking? I'm just talking in the background.
no, that's true.
What have you done to yourself?
There's sometimes when you don't need to go to bed at the certain time that you bequeath to go to bed. Like
Right,
sometimes you need to stay up late and do some investigations.
right,
Sometimes it commands that shit. And like
right,
it don't have to be New Year's Eve or some crazy shit like that where you stay
right,
up for 2 or 3 days.
right,
You don't have to be on no drug induced bender. No,
right.
sometimes life requires you to do that type of investigation in yourself. Like,
Exactly.
people, I'd be like, have you ever fasted? And be like, oh, yeah, I didn't fast. And then a lot of people base that shit on a religion or this and that.
Right,
But no, I mean, fast for a different reason. The
right,
reason that motivates you to do whatever it is you do has to be stout. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be like,
right,
oh, they said to do it in the Bible, so I fasted because of that. No, nigga, fast because you want to see how long you can go without food. Let's see,
right,
like
right,
do it for a different reason because
right,
that shit justifies it differently in your mechanism because
right,
your body is a planet and you cannot deceive what it is. You cannot deceive the subconscious. Whatever it is you call it in your conscious mind, the subconscious sees it for what it is. And it's
right,
gonna
right,
leave it at that. So you have to really hack yourself and say,
right,
I'm gonna do it like this for this amount of time. But people don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Like,
right,
why would I walk if I got a car? You walk if you got a car to see if you can walk.
right,
Test yourself.
right,
I remember my son
right.
asked me one time, he was like, I didn't have a car at the time. And my son was like, uh, Dad, is Uncle Jay stronger than you? I was like, why you say that? He was like, because he got a car and you don't. I say, nah, son, I'm stronger than Uncle Jay because I gotta walk where I gotta go. That
Right,
that's adding to my leg muscles. That's adding to everything that I'm doing. That I'm stronger because I understand that getting from here to there is going to require a little bit more effort. Whereas Uncle Jay or whoever might leave the house at the last minute, speeding, trying to get to where they got to go and be like, I'm here on time. Whereas the methodology that comes into me getting up, preparing myself for a walk that anything can happen, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting
right,
there on time, but I'm better for the work. You know what I'm saying? I'm better off for the worse, no worse for the wear. You feel me?
Right.
Like all of these things that
Right.
I put in place make me stronger.
Right.
Just because you go to work and you get paid and you get off and you go rest for the next day, that don't make you stronger. How about you get up, go to work, get off, do some exercise or do something strenuous, and
Right.
then get ready to go to work the next day? Like put something on yourself, because I always think back to that movie, Conan the Barbarian, bro. And
Yeah.
this dude was pushing that shit. He was pushing this carousel around, grinding up some fucking wheat or something. And it's like, man, this motherfucker do this shit every day. And people be like, oh, you can overtrain. You're going to overtrain yourself. You come up with these excuses, but what about a motherfucker who had to do that shit every day, overtrain or not?
Right.
You're going to have to dig deep and put yourself in awkward positions and awkward situations to exceed and supersede that shit. You know,
Right.
you have to.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
what makes you stronger. So fuck
Right.
walk. God damn it.
Right. 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 Like you said, the thing is we done took work and we done took the building of self and the building of that which is around us, and we done took it and we done took the value that somebody else gave it. So we so against it that anything outside of being simple, like, so the other day I'm talking to a guy, I'm interviewing a guy for a job, and I say to him, we talking. So we get to talking about the work, and I say, well, man, I say now, a lot of people get caught up in easy. They want everything to be a certain level of ease. And I say, well, the problem with that is if everything becomes easy, then it breaks down. You break down, it's easy, it gets easier, it gets easier. So now easy breaks things down, but challenge builds things up.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
you think, okay, yeah, okay, think about this. Water comes down the side of a mountain, right? And a drop of water come down, but the rocks are jagged. One drop of water comes down and it's tumbling. Then two, tumbling. But before you know it, so many drops of water done come down, it done created a slide, right? So it done knocked all of the jagged edges off. Now this rock is smooth, right? So now all the water that comes behind it is coming down easier than the first few drops, right? So now it's just a big slide because it gets easier and easier for the next one. So as the next ones come, it's just falling down in a line and it's breaking down the side of the mountain. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Of course, we need waterfalls, we need rivers. You get what I'm saying for what it is, but it's the same as in your life when you continuously try to make things easier and easier, then at the end of the day, you're just easing yourself out of whatever position you're in. You don't understand it because now it's no challenge. Anybody can come and take it from you. Anybody can come do it. Anybody can have it. It could be anybody's because it's too easy.
And you know what? The people that's in, like you say, the work organizers, they do that on purpose. They try to streamline it and make stuff so easy because people lose their purpose in the process of that.
Right.
You know, you can go, you could be doing something and you can figure out all types of ways to do it better and do it like this and do it like that. And then you make yourself dispensable because now we can get something else going on with somebody else coming in and do it easier than you did. But really, it's just like tricks of the trade. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really tell everybody all your tricks in your bag because you want to still be relevant.
Right.
But me, I'm gonna give up all the tricks in the bag, not because any other reason. I'm not worried about it because my internal confidence is so high. I'm so creative. I know that if I give it up, something else is gonna come to me. Just like being generous with money. You know, when I got it, I'm not tripping because I'm gonna go get it again. And the fact that I spend it is gonna make me replace it. And whether that's money, whether that's knowledge or anything like that. Like I'm not holding it. I'm not just spilling that shit out because I got to make sure that the ears are ready. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna speak, but at the same time, I'm gonna reserve myself to a certain point because I don't want to just be spitting out shit that people ain't ready for, or that I don't feel like that needs to be initiated in that moment. But at the same time, I'm not cuffing this shit. It's not mine.
Look,
It's to flow through me. You know what I
like I
mean?
always like, look, that's what I say about it too. I give it, like you said, my cup overfloweth, or give as I've been given, right? So I always let them know. I say, man, well, listen, that's all I got for you is this real deal trill spill. You understand
Yeah.
me? And guess what? I get real clumsy with this game. You come around me and I'ma spill it on you. You understand me? So if you ain't
Right.
trying to get splashed, I suggest you dash. You understand
Yeah.
me?
Right.
Because I'm gonna spill this game on you. You understand me? I get
Right.
real clumsy with it because even more so than me having it, me giving it away as they say, you saying, oh, the cup is half empty or half full. They say, well, you can look at it that way, or you could just look at it as it's refillable.
Right.
You
Right.
see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Definitely.
So whether or not, I can always put more in it.
That's like yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna put all these eggs in this basket, and if the
Right.
shit fall through, I'm gonna go get some
I'm
more
gonna go get
eggs,
some
baby.
more eggs.
You feel me?
You see what I'm
That's what
saying?
I'm
So
saying.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and spill this game on you. I'm gonna go ahead and give it. I want to give it to you because guess what? I want to go get more.
Exactly.
I want
Exactly.
to go get more. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
I know what's gonna come up out of me is some brand new
Right,
shit to try to go get it.
right, right.
You
And
know what I'm
like
saying? Nothing is never stopping me.
right, and like they say, when you dropping it or you spilling it, I don't have to remember it. That's better because guess what? What is if nature has designated, if it can't defend itself, it shall not be defended. So once I hand it to you, it's gonna defend itself. I ain't gotta worry about it. I don't gotta come back to it. You can come back and be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you said this to me. I'll be like, you know what? I did say that.
Right, right. That's me all day.
Oh, yeah,
That
that
should be
is, you know,
passing through me,
I
man.
did
Yeah.
say that. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what?
Right.
Matter of fact, I done went around and I done evolved that 3 times.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because like
Mm-hmm.
you said, the work is there. The work is there for you to continue to grow. What's your personal war? You understand me?
Right.
Is what my personal war is to become better at being me. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I
Mm-hmm.
always say, man, I'm Jewel Brown for a living. I work for money.
Right. Dig it.
I'm me for
That's
a
just
living.
like
But
that's just like that map of consciousness that we was talking about the other
right,
time. When you got all these different ways to show force, right?
right,
But that force has to, once it's applied, it eventually manifests in the power. So
right,
really at a certain point, we constantly walking in power, different
right,
gradations of the power, because the
right,
force has already been converted. We didn't
right,
already energy done done the work and transmuted that into power, eternal power. Like that's
right,
what it's gonna be. And that's why they
right,
say if you take all the money from the millionaires in the world and evenly disperse it out over the globe, all them same millionaires gonna get that money right back tenfold
right,
because they living in power where other people is just they got force, but they don't know how to convert the force. Oh,
right,
I was abused as a child, or I
right,
lost these other 2 jobs, or when I tried to do this, it didn't work. All that is force potential, you know what I'm saying, to be turned into power, but you don't know how to convert it. Because
right,
you stop converting. You got to
right,
a certain point, but like, oh, this job won't pay me how much? Okay,
right,
good. Oh,
right,
see, I don't want to be working just to cover. Like people be like, oh, that's a good job. You got insurance, you got dental. I ain't paying for none of that shit. You know why? Because I'm my own doctor, and I'm
right,
not trying to be comfortable in a situation to where like, oh, as long as I got my insurance and everything covered, I'm good. Man, you're gonna just end up like you're gonna end up. You got to keep maneuvering. I'm not saying don't get insurance and you know what I'm saying, don't go to the doctor if you need to.
right,
That's up to you. I'm saying for me, I got priorities and I need my cash first. If this
right,
is what you paying me because I'm mad for a living and I just do this for money, then I'm gonna need my money up front so I can go
right,
take that and convert that into some shit Matt want.
right,
You know
right,
what I mean? So
right.
it's like
The things that keep powering Matt.
exactly. I'm not gonna be
Right,
falling into some, oh, it's a good job, and aren't you glad you get working here? You safe and you got a good job, and like, man, fuck all that, cause that shit ain't gonna do nothing. Then you're
right.
gonna be, you know what I'm saying? All I'm
Look,
around is old fogies, old
right,
motherfuckers that's just like, come on, man. You
right.
know?
I was talking to somebody, and I'm trying to get them, whatever. I'm like, hey man, blah 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 blah. But I realized at some point, I was like, well, all I can do is give you money. That's all I can do. Like
Yeah.
I can't help you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying
But
to
they
give
not there. That
right.
you that you trying to help ain't even there.
Right. All I can do is give you money.
Right, right.
That's
Because
it.
they probably just thinking about the work. They not engaged. They just
Right,
like, well, and that's why people be going home
right,
miserable, man. You can have a decent
right,
job and you
right.
still be unhappy because
You
you
got
are the job.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
All the things that you say you need to be happy, you're in possession of, but you're still
Mm-hmm.
not. The
Right, right.
only thing I can do at this point is just give you money, man. There's nothing else I can do for you.
And they be trying to sell you on shit like, oh, streaming TV. You got your streaming TV, you got your
Right,
Paramount, you got your Netflix, you got your HBO, and you be like, oh, you're a gamer? Well, get you some internet and you can go home and game. And
right,
aren't you happy? You remember when you were a kid? Like what happens is they start off when you were a kid and all the things you dream about having, like, man, when I get older, man, I'm gonna drink soda for dinner and I'm gonna have a game and I'm gonna play video games all night. And it's like that stuff is just it's a supplementation. It's a bad supplement. It's like a bad vitamin. You know what I
right,
mean? And you get to doing that shit, and it's called a gaming console because it's consoling you in your misery.
right,
There's nothing good about playing some shit. I'm not saying no play games, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I never have, but what I'm saying is at a certain point, you're gonna have to do some other shit because if your game, it's like you're inside of a box. You
right,
can't be creative inside of a box, just like you can't be creative drawing inside the lines. You know what? I don't want a coloring book no more. I don't want a blank canvas. Give me a blank canvas so I can delve inside my mind and put something on the paper. I don't want to
right,
listen to music with words in it no more. I want to listen to music that's blank and just instrumentals because then I can implant what I want to implant. You'll be surprised how much skating your mind will do when you don't convolute it with other people's words or other people's ideas. You know, if you want to read a book. But then after you read that book, sit back, contemplate, think about the book. Matter of fact, call a friend and tell them to read a book too. And then you two together can end up manifesting some whole new ideas and whole new things. I mean, when
right,
did people stop reading? You know,
right,
how about you read a paragraph or you read a chapter and call me and say, hey, what do you think about this chapter? What'd you get out of it? Oh, okay. Oh,
right,
well, I got this out of it, man. And now y'all
right,
brainstorming. Now
right,
y'all connecting on a whole astral plane, on a whole etheric type of level. And that's what people need to get back to. But if you sit there and you watch the news and the news is telling you how to think, what to feel, what to see. And then after that, y'all don't have nothing to talk about because everything to talk about has been said already. There's no
right,
need to go any further. Whereas if you think and look at things critically, I know my girl be getting tired of it too, man. We'll be watching. I'll be like, look, see what they're trying to do? They're trying to show you this and that. And look at that, look at that. But see,
right,
if
right,
both of us, if you won't be so put off by it, be like, well, I can't even enjoy my show. Be like, well, I'm not trying to take away from your enjoyment of the show. I'm trying to show you the subliminal science that they hypnotizing motherfuckers with. So you
right,
don't be hypnotized by it. Because once you become aware of it, it can't work on you. But
right,
if you don't acknowledge it for what it is and you take it for what they saying it is, then you in a whole world of trouble, man, because you just like the millions of these drones out here, man, you really got to snap out of it. You got to break the chains. You got to really start thinking. And how do you think? Epistemology, it comes back to that. How do you know what you know?
right.
Everybody need to get
Look,
into this type of science.
look. When people be like, "Oh, well, I don't read," and I always like, "Well, that's crazy." Not because you don't read books. But what's crazy is everywhere you go, everything you do, you read. So you done told yourself you don't read, but everywhere you go, everything you do, you're reading for the rest of your life. Ah, well, I don't read. Well, okay, when you go to McDonald's, what you do? You read the menu. When you go to a restaurant, what you do? You read the menu. When you get off on the exit, what you do? You read the exit. You read the sign. You read
Mhm.
it. You you're doing it, but you so anti-work, you so anti you only see the things that you do in the form of if it has a monetary value for it, but really all of these things are the things that construct your existence. the, all of
Like a
these
mother. Mm-hmm.
all of these things is how your reality is constructed. You're saying that you don't read, but you read everything.
And the thing is that like a person could be so hypnotized by that science you're talking about, I don't like to read, that you won't even do anything to further yourself. Because once you get the job, then the job is simply task. No,
Right,
a lot of jobs don't ask you to think critically or research or do things like that. Only certain jobs will require you to do further research. Let's say a lawyer, let's say a doctor, let's say
right,
a progressive mechanic whose
right,
their industry is always changing and you have to stay abreast to new topics that's dealing with the industry. But then you got other jobs where it's like, once you learn it, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, work at a call center for 10 years. How the hell you do that? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking nobody that's doing that for their paper, but you definitely got to see there's something more out there. You can't just
But here's
be
what I'm saying.
satisfied.
What I'm saying
You be
is,
just satisfied. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is how people are anti-work. They're anti the things that make existence go. Like, well, you know, they don't read, right? But when you go on the internet, so you're looking at Facebook or you're looking at something, and the video has got the video, but what do? They got a caption that already sets your mind up for what is about to happen in the video. So all day, every day, whatever you're doing, you're reading.
A lot of motherfuckers won't even do that, bro. They'll scroll by the reading shit. I didn't have, like, I'll be on Twitter or whatever, and somebody will have a whole paragraph. I'm gonna read that because I want to know what you're trying to say. That's just me. But I know a motherfucker scroll by that shit looking just for the memes, looking just for the videos, and then they cut it off. It's like, that's like they'll have articles. You know what I'm saying? And the article, it'll tell you sometimes at the top, be like 10-minute read, 5-minute read. It's like, okay, I got 5 minutes. But another motherfucker be like, fuck it. Like, some people just refuse to, you know what I'm saying? Everything ain't gonna be just given to you in a meme or a video.
I'm saying everything that you are against is even in your entertainment. I'm saying that all the things that you've built this whole wall against, you understand that everything that you so anti is built into everything you do. So you don't want to do nothing. You don't, all right, cool. So you say you're gonna be, I don't want to work, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. You're gonna be a TikTok star or something. But then you have to learn how to do the transitions. And then you have to learn how to do the video transitions. You have to learn how to do them good. Or, well, I don't want to work for a living. Well, I'm gonna whatever. I'm gonna be a TikTok star. That's cool. You can do that. I'm not saying don't. But then you have to learn all the dances. You have to learn all, you know what I'm saying? You have to learn all the trends. Like, you think that you're finding a way out of what you have to do, but when you actually get to doing it, you think you're finding a way out of work, but really whatever you're looking to do is work.
And then people be so quick to give up. That's like a motherfucker to be like, oh, I'm into this now. Oh, I'm into that now. Oh, what happened? I thought you were doing such and such and such and such. Nah, I gave that up. You know why you gave that shit up? Because it got outside of the parameters of the easiness you thought it was going to be. Just like you talking about. You know, you thought it was going to be easy until, to be good at it, to really be successful at it, you got to apply yourself a little bit. And nigga be like, man, now I'm into this. But all the while, you still working at this old bum job. And what's your console? What's your consolation? Oh, I'm gonna go play the game. It's a consolation prop. It's called a gaming console because it's helping you deal with your misery, bro. What they say: full house, empty mind. Empty house, full mind. You know what I mean? You have to put yourself in positions where you don't have it so easy. You know, like you don't have it so easy when it comes to the music you listen to, or when it comes to the exercises that you do. It's like, why are you just like he said, if you don't challenge yourself, if it's too easy, it's gonna degenerate. It's gonna atrophy. It's gonna fall the fuck off. You don't use it, you lose it. You know what I mean? And you campaigning to find out how not to use some shit. I don't want to use this.
That's what I'm saying. People, I was listening, I'm just listening, and it's like, and then this is something that I came to, and it was, once I saw it, it was what it was. I'm like, man, well, I don't want to work. I don't want to work. This is me, just me. I don't want to work. I don't want to do. And then I realized, well, I'm going to end up working for the rest of my life. So why would I be anti it, right? So then I started looking at all the things that constitute what comes with work, how work happens, what goes along with work. Now I'm looking at people talking about, well, the top 1% don't work, the blah, 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 blah. But every dollar is made from some form of work. Every one of them.
Then you got to look at what money is, what a dollar is. A dollar is simply a representation. Somebody said that they'll pay you this amount of money for your time to do this task. And all the dollar is a representation of that. Some people get more dollars for working that same hour for doing a different task, but all it is saying that your time was worth this amount to do this task. And that's it. And then once you're done with it, you're done with it. Or once they done with you, then they done with you. So you supposed to take that dollar and convert it into things that are going to be self-sustaining. You know, not Burger King, not some quick, fast, easy fix. That's not what that's for, because you just sacrifice an hour of your time to go do that, or however many hours of your time, and you only have so much time and so many days and so many hours. So it's important that you take that dollar that's only a fake banknote and turn it into something real. You can turn it into something that's tangible, like maybe gold and silver. You can turn it into something that you love to do, like a hobby, invest in that hobby, so you can do that when there are no dollars to be had. You have to find a way to take that money that's only a representation of your time and turn that time into art. Time multiplied by energy equals art. That was the time formula from the last episode in that book, Time in the Technosphere by Jose Aguilar. There's two formulas for time. So you have to, every breath you take, every step you make, they'll be watching you, but nah, that's not what I'm talking about. But listen, every step you take and every breath you take is the manifestation of art itself incarnate. So all the thoughts that you have, whether or not you say it out loud, it still manifests itself. So even when you thinking it, it's gonna go somewhere and exist. Just like you say it and you leave it alone. So many thoughts you done had that you done said and left alone, and they still go on to exist because they self-sustaining in this world, this natural effect. So you have to monitor your thoughts and make sure that them shits is geared towards you becoming a better you. And then when you become a better you, then you can be a better parent. Don't just say, I'm gonna be a good parent for your kid and then sacrifice yourself and the time that you need to dedicate to yourself to be a better parent, thinking that you're being a better parent. No, invest in yourself. And then that investment in yourself is going to exude and overflow into you raising your child better, or to you having better success at your job, or to whatever the hell you're trying to do. It starts with you bettering you and then falling in love with that. And then that's going to overflow into all the other things of your life.
Right. And like you're saying, the main thing about it is, but you have to understand and first realize that the work that is required has nothing to do with going against you. Work is not the enemy. Work is not the thing that's destroying you. The thing that's destroying you is what you're associating with work, whatever it is. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? I don't know what you're associating it with, but that's the thing that's destroying you. Because even the thing that you want that's going to make your life better, you have to work at it.
Exactly.
Get what I'm saying? So you're associating something that has nothing to do with you and your progression. You're associating.
You gotta fall in love with practice.
Right. You associate. That's what I'm saying. So when we talking about, people talk about like, it's just this whole vibe or this whole mentality that's work and slavery. Like I just hate that correlation, man. Like, because it's so counterproductive that I don't even have words for how counterproductive it is. It's like that thing, but listen to what you're saying. You're taking two completely different entities and merging them into one. So now it destroys your desire, it destroys your vitality, it destroys your enthusiasm, it destroys the things that motivate you. It destroys those things, it corrodes those things.
And then that shit becomes cancerous, because then you're such a powerful person, such a creative person, that world that you create, and you're gonna spill it on to others, and then it's just become a chain reaction. You could say that about the Black community, or wokeness, or you know, people who wear beards. You know, all of these stereotypes, they end up hovering over you because those are really entities, and as much as they get projected onto you, you project them onto yourself, and you just keep that shit alive. We got to break these chains. You know what I'm saying? We got to break these sciences that's been given to us, because they'll be happy to tell you that, yeah, I agree. But see, they deceiving you. They can agree with you, but they could be sending you down a wrong path, man, on some yellow brick road shit. It's like they sending you down a wrong path, and all you need to do is wake the fuck up and see it for what it is. You know, but it's so easy to sit there and listen and not think. You got to think critically. It's a path to that.
See it for yourself. So just with that, as we saying what is work and what is not, that's what That's what is your finding your personal war, because you could call it work, you could call it war, you could call it art, you can call it, you know, I don't know what else people call it now. You can call it your sport, you can call it your game, you
Your
whatever
routine,
you
your
can call it,
ritual.
right? Whatever you want to call it. You see what I'm saying? I'm just using the word work. You know what I'm saying? As
Mm-hmm.
as in what, working as the unit of measure, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I use work as measuring my progress, or just measuring my process, because I can order things into work, and it makes it easy, for lack of another word, but it makes it plausible for me to do it. You know what I'm saying? I organize my life, I organize my activities into work. But you may organize it into a sport. You may organize it into a game. You may organize it into anything. You get what I'm saying? I
You
see.
need to, though. Everybody needs to take control and call it for what the fuck you want it to be. I am
Right,
is the highest proclamation. So
right,
when you call it what you want to call it, that's that mind hack. They can
right,
call it whatever, but you call
right,
it what you need to call it so you can function within that shit,
right,
and you can take
exactly,
what you doing and turn it into what you want it. You know what I mean?
right,
Take what you're doing and
exactly.
turn it into what you want it
That's
to be.
that's exactly what I'm saying. When you find your personal war, now what are you waging that war against? You waging that war against, the things that are keeping you from whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to be, wherever it is you want to go. You know how you want to be. How do you want to represent yourself? Like you
Look,
said,
back remember when we was first kicking it and I was doing all this diet stuff and people would ask me how you, because I was doing cyclic fasting and I still cyclic
yeah,
fast to this day. And they'd be like, man, well, man, don't you get hungry, man? All them hunger pains. I was like, you know what? What I did was I looked up what hunger pains were. And I
right,
found out it was my organs maneuvering and readying themselves for me not to be able to eat for a while. And once I figured out all that other stuff, I stopped calling it hunger pains. Whereas other people call it hunger pains, I would say, oh, that's my body engaging. And me
right,
saying that during the wordplay helped change the configuration in my mind, and my cells understood it for what I wanted them to understand it as. And the hunger pains was just my body engaging. So
right,
that turned into a benefit for me, whereas other people would be in anguish. Oh, my stomach hurt. I'm getting a headache. That shit powered me up, just like it does to this day. It powers me up. You can be
right,
confused as to why I'm not eating lunch or whatever. Mind your business, because
right,
I'm doing what I need to do to make it through my day. I'm you
right,
you you just around me. You know what I'm
right,
saying? You just around
right,
me. I'm in the center of this. So I'm doing so
right,
that's just a mind hack. Everybody needs to hack their minds, and whatever you know it to be, call it the you can start off like this, call it the direct opposite. You know what I mean? And
right,
and really own that shit and really
right,
believe that shit. And you're gonna find yourself stepping through life in a whole different way. And that's gonna
right,
build the confidence you need in order to supersede and proceed.
right. Look, what makes what you're saying is crazy is because, just like we was talking, I was telling you, I was like, well, man, once I started changing the words that I was using in various scenarios, is like instantly my life changed.
Mm-hmm.
It changed instantly. Like, instead of looking at it like, oh, well, I'm a parent, or I'm a business owner, or I'm this, I was like, I'm leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So so then it took away all of the menial meanings,
Right.
and I could stay consistent on leadership.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Because that was be leadership is able to be transcribed from work to home.
Lexicological alchemy.
You get what I'm saying? I was able to transcribe it, because if I'm a parent here, but still you're a leader.
Yes.
You're those little people's leader. You're your family's leader. So when you go to work and you're the manager or whatever, are you there? You're the leader there. So why are you using two different leaderships? Why are you using conflicting, if now you can be consistent in leadership? So now you thinking consistently now, but now you may change the way you approach the people that you're leading, but you consistent in your leadership.
Right. You embody everything that it is to be a leader. So you
Right.
can go from the football field to the
Right.
little league game, to the
Right.
job, to
Right.
whatever. And you
Right.
know what I'm saying? And that's just
Right.
what it is. That's
Right.
why, you know,
Right.
once you change
Right.
what it means, you feel me?
Right.
That's why, you know, like when I was drinking, like you be drinking like your little protein drinks or whatever, call it something else. When you take
Right.
your vitamins, don't just, oh, these my vitamins. No, call it something else, you know, just like
Right.
you know, I remember when I was little, we'll be sitting around and we be playing and everything, and then you be like your Skittles or your sweet tarts or whatever, you be like, oh, this is my medicine. I'm sick. So you take
Right.
the sweet
Right.
tarts, and
Right.
then you be like, oh, I'm
Right.
good. Or
Right.
I used to love root beer because root beer is spicy, got that vanilla taste to it. So we'll
Right.
pour the root beer in the cap of the bottle and be like, oh, I'm drunk. We taking shots
Right.
of the
You
root beer.
taking
You know what I'm
shots of
saying?
the
So
root beer. Yeah.
all of that stuff you did when you was a little kid,
Look.
that's what you got to do now.
Now that's the same. Now you're getting spicy, my boy. Because what's that? That's using your imagination, and they say your imagination is everything.
Everything.
So imagination is your ability to manipulate magic in a regular sense. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because I go into my garage, which I call a danger room. I call it my danger room. This is the danger room. You understand me? This is the stronghold, whatever. And why is it? Because every time I come out of there, I'm a little bit more dangerous. You
Right,
know
right.
But anyway, long story long, I go in there, I call it the danger room. And I used to lift weights, right? I used to work out. But once I switched it to training,
Mm-hmm.
now in my mind, I got specific things I'm targeting, things I'm doing. I'm training now.
Right.
Because now for somebody else, working out maybe the same as me saying training, right? To
Mm-hmm.
them, they may activate it in under the same pretense, right? But
Mm-hmm.
but between working out and training is a different activation of the information. You see what I'm saying?
Right, because you
So,
know those words to be different, but you're
right,
hacking yourself and saying, you
right,
know what?
right, right,
Everybody needs to do that. Call
right,
something
right,
else, man.
right. Call it something that when you use the you gotta, like you say, now you gotta look at the word. How are you charging the word up? How is the word being how is the word
Expressed.
being right? How is it being transmogrified? How is it being translated? You get what I'm saying? But you using empty words, not words that are empty, but they're empty to you.
Right,
You know
because
what I'm saying?
somebody else gave them to you.
Right, right. So that's when from our initial premise, we talking work. But see, work has become so empty to people. So you have to now, because the idea is it's never the actual operation or the actual activation of what work means will never go anywhere. The value of it won't change because you don't have value for work, but the people who you're talking about, the government and these rich people, they have value for. So it's never going to change. Not saying it's never going to change, but in the term that you're defending yourself against is never going to change. But if you change the context within you, now you can use it to empower yourself. If you don't want to see, if you got an issue with it being called work, then call it art.
Yeah.
Got an issue with it, call it something that will activate within you. You see what I'm saying? So if I go into the gym and I'm saying I'm going to work out, I may say, well, I don't want to use the word work. Well, I could say training. Now my whole idea of working out is different because now I'm training. I could be training to become a superhero. I could be training to become the savior of my family. I could be training to become anything. So it's already given me a different context of seriousness for myself once I engage in the activity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've already changed the context in which I view it. I didn't change working out. You get what I'm saying? I didn't change
Right.
it. I'm still going in there to lift weights.
Mm-hmm.
But once I change the context to which I activate, now it became a whole different construct. Now I see it differently. Like you said, now I see it like when we was a kid and we was taking the sweet tarts talking about they was our medicine.
Right, right.
I
And
see it.
nobody could take that from you.
Right.
Nobody can take that from you.
Because
That's just like
we put it in those contexts.
if you look at it like this, we behind enemy lines.
Right.
And if you get captured by the enemy, they're gonna torture you and try to get you to talk.
Talk, my boy.
But that's not, it's yours. So they can't break you. They can't get you to talk because you're not budging, because that's your science.
Look, as we talking right now, right? We in two different locations. As far as we concerned, right? Right now, we are doing secret communications behind enemy lines.
You dig?
If we want to,
and if you tuned in, you are part of the conspiracy, right?
Right.
If you made it this far, you knee deep in the conspiracy.
Right. Listen, and after this message, it will self-destruct. You understand me? You need. You understand me? This message will self-destruct. But once you start putting it in those type of contexts, now you can empower the idea of work. You can empower the idea of what you're doing, because when you put it in the context that it was given to you in, it's powerless to you. But to the people who manipulating the information, it's the most powerful thing in existence, because everything they get is from the context which they gave it to you in.
Right. And they don't have to even be around you. You know what I'm saying? Because the science had already been put down. So when you go to work from your little apartment or your little house, and you go do you under their science. Right. So you have to realize that this is an all-encompassing thing. Right. And you to break out of it, you have to rename it.
Right. So
the world around you is not necessarily going to change. If you go outside and it's cold, you still might freeze. Right. But you got to recall it something else.
Right. This is what I always say. I say that's the craziest part about it is we always looking for a way out, but you should be looking for a way in. You're looking for a way out. You're looking for a way out of work. Why don't you look for a way into work? It's like this. You standing in a field and the fire is coming towards you. But now if you keep running from the fire, it's always going to chase you. But if you run towards the fire, soon as you jump through the flames, everything behind it is burning. There's no fire behind the fire.
Right.
You looking for a way out when you should be looking for the way in. If you run into the fire, everything behind it is burnt.
You dig? Ready to start new.
Right. So the only way, the field, you keep running deep into the field and the fire keeps following you deeper into the field. But everything on the other side of that wall of fire is been burnt. There's no fire behind it. There's no fire behind it. But you looking for a way out when you should be looking for a way in. You see what I'm saying?
I dig it.
You like I said, so look at it like that. I said I switched it from work out to train in.
That's real.
You understand what I'm saying?
That alchemy, boy, that lexicological.
You get what I'm saying? So the whole reality is that the work is just the word that we're holding the place with.
Right. It's just the way to produce the product. Right. You are the product. What you touch is the product. So what you touch and what you envision should turn into gold. You should be able to manifest that as that. And just the process of doing that is just the process of doing that. The end result is what you want to get to. You can't jump to the end result. You got to take the steps that get you to the end result. Right. Don't take the easiest way. The path of least resistance is not the path with the least steps. The path of least resistance is the path that every step has a purpose, whether it's 1,000 or 1,000,000 of them. If every step have a purpose, then it's going to be the easiest path.
Look. Power without purpose is pointless. And power without purpose is poison, and purpose without power is pointless. You understand? So if you got purpose, but you don't got power, it's pointless. And how do you get power? As we said before, it's how you multiply your force, right? It's how you multiplying your energy. That's how you get in your power. How are you multiplying your energy? But if you slowly killing your energy, right? That's subtraction. That's the division of your energy. You need to be in multiplying and adding to your energy to gain power. right? And then once you gain that power, you can multiply times your purpose. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to taking it and not having no power and having a bunch of purpose. Hello? You breaking up, brother?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
You
Yeah,
get what
man.
I'm saying? So, you know, the whole thing is, how do you get yourself into the situation of multiplying your power, multiplying your purpose? You get it through your work. Accept your workload and respect your workload. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
You need to find and establish you a SOP, as we call it, a standard operating procedure. You know, you need those things for whatever. You get what I'm saying? And you say, oh, well, it's work, it's this, it's that. Yeah, well, if you're an artist, you have a way that you get into your art motif. You have a way that you get into your art mode. If you play sports, you have a way to get into your sports mode. You get what I'm saying? If whatever way you designate it, you need to start coming up with terms and ways and things of activating that personally. Like you said, once you change the words and we say, well, you get what I'm saying? Well, basketball players or football players, they're using the same words, but they're using them in different contexts. You know, when you don't play a sport, hustling mean what? You know, whatever it means, you know, getting money, this, that, and the third. But on the court, it means getting to those plays, hustle off the field, hustle back on, hustle to your spot, hustle to your position, right? But it's the same words, but in a different context, it means a different thing and it brings a different result. You get what I'm saying? So in your scenario, in your life, give those words the proper context, the proper concepts, and create the outcomes for yourself through, as you say, this lexicological alchemy.
Yeah, exactly. And anything that you do when it's just you around and nobody is looking, it's perfect. How
Right.
you come to those, how you get involved, how you get motivated, that's for you to perfect for yourself. And you can become perfect at that, you know? How
Right.
you get into your meditation, how you get into your sleep realm, how you get into these tasks that you want to accomplish, you will perfect that. And nobody else can do it like you, just like it's exclusive to you, like DNA or
Right.
your blood. You know what I'm saying? That's exclusive to you. That is for you. So you are perfecting it no matter what it is you're doing. Just
Right.
as long as you're applying yourself and you got the right mind state, whatever you're doing is perfect. So you have to become perfectly disciplined in the actions that you're taking and the actions that you don't take. Become perfectly disciplined in that, and you can do that. That's what you
Right.
need to be doing.
Right. But you know, the whole dissertation on work. So you know what it is at this point. Stand by your work.
Always on time.
Right on, brother. Appreciate your help.
Yeah, thanks for listening.